It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the movies of May 5th, 2000. We're looking at the three films that helped launch the 2000 summer movie season. And what better way to start off with than the movie that won Best Picture that year, and that is Russell Crowe and Ridley Scott's Gladiator.
They took everything he loved. Promise me that you will look after my family.
Your family will meet you in the afterlife.
Destroyed everything he was.
I'm a slave. What possible difference can I make?
Now,
Every day he lives, they grow bolder.
he will return,
Today I saw a slave become more powerful than the Emperor of Rome.
and a hero will rise. Russell Crowe, Gladiator. Rated R.
So Russell Crowe plays Maximus Decimus Meridius, father to a dead son, husband to a dead wife, and he'll have his vengeance in this life or the next. And he says that because he was betrayed when Commandus, the ambitious son of Emperor Marcus Aurelius. I cannot pronounce these words. Aurelius murders his father and seizes the throne, reduced to slavery. Maximus becomes a gladiator and rises through the ranks of the arena to avenge the murder of his family and his emperor. This is based off of the story of Those About to Die, which was formerly titled The Way of the Gladiator, and was later remade into this movie, with Ridley Scott directing it, and this is being also written by John Logan, William Nicholson, and of course it won Best Picture that year. That became the year's Best Picture winner at the Academy Awards. I don't think it deserved Best Picture, quite honestly, but I think there were so many other better movies nominated there. I mean, I think Castaway probably should have won Best Picture that year, honestly, the more I think about it. I think that film stands out more than this movie does, but of course it wasn't nominated that year. But Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon I thought was probably better. I mean, my personal opinion was Traffic was pretty good too, but I'm not upset that this won Best Picture. I'm just saying, like, okay, let me put it this way. There have been so many Best Picture winners over the last 20-plus years that don't really... When I think of Best Picture at the Academy Awards, I think of the movie that defines the year as a whole. The movie that is indeed the Best Picture of the year. The film that actually was a really good movie and not just an Oscar baitish type film. Not like in a year where Green Book or Coda or The King's Speech wins Best Picture. I mean, I'm talking about really good movies that deserve to win Best Picture, like what we had last year with Everything Everywhere All at Once, or what we had the year before this with American Beauty. Like these really good films that deserve to be considered the Best Picture of the year. This one, it's not quite King's Speech or English Patient levels of bad. I mean, far from it. I mean, I enjoy this movie. I think it is a really solid film. I think Russell Crowe is fantastic in the movie. I think the action sequences are top-notch. I think Ridley Scott directed this pretty well. I'm not going to say it's one of his best films overall, but then again, anytime you try to say something bad about Ridley Scott nowadays, people just shake it off as if you're not even talking sense anymore. But really, the last great movie Ridley Scott made was The Martian. Everything he's done since then, Alien Covenant, All the Money in the World, what was The Last Duel, Napoleon, have not been good movies. I mean, I liked House of Gucci, but even House of Gucci has some ridiculously over-the-top moments that are kind of funny. But at the same time, I still like that movie, but that's probably the only decent film I've seen of his since The Martian. But The Martian, I think, is the best movie he's made in the last 10 years. But this is a good film. It's a good epic adventure film. It's a good epic historical drama. It feels like a grand epic on the same level as something like The Ten Commandments or Spartacus or Ben-Hur, all these classics from the golden age of cinema. I mean, you can definitely tell Ridley Scott put his heart and soul into this to try to make a grand epic movie, and he succeeded. He did a very good job of handling that, and I think the performances overall are great. There are a lot of great quotes from this movie. I'm not saying anything bad against the movie itself. It's a great film. Would I consider it the best movie of the year to win Best Picture? No, I'm not going to go too far. I feel like there would have been so many other better films nominated in there, but some of them didn't get nominated. Of course, the aforementioned Castaway, which I think is one of the best films that comes out this year, but that we won't get to that until later on down the year. He's trying to make a sequel to this, though, and I guess it's coming. It's coming next Thanksgiving, and I really don't think that sequel is going to be any good. I really do not. I mean, it's 24 years too late for that. Like, if you're going to do that, you got to do it a couple years after the first film came out. Not 24 years. Like, nobody is asking for a sequel to this, but it's coming. So, look forward to that next year. But regardless, this is a great film. I love this movie so much. Like, I'm talking bad about it mostly because it won Best Picture in a year where I think so many other movies deserved it, but it's not a bad movie by any means necessary. I don't really have that many complaints about the film at all. It's a great movie, a great epic film. More movies like this needed to come out around this time, and sure enough, we did. We got this, and then not but a couple years later, we got Wolfgang Petersen's Troy, which I think is a very, very good film that got very overlooked when it came out. But in the years since then, I think it has gone on to have that legacy that it should have had at that point. But this is a great film. I can't recommend this one enough. Gladiator. If you have not seen it, definitely check it out. It's definitely worth it. So, on to our next movie, and that is Kim Basinger in I Dreamed of Africa.
Been here in Kenya. Came here to change things. She discovered and uncovered. What kind of people do this? Who's killing my son? Academy Award-winner Kim Basinger. I know this is the chance to find meaning in my life. As a woman fighting the odds to make a difference. What is a gift I did not expect? I Dreamed of Africa. Rated PG. Opens everywhere May 5th.
I think you could start to see some of the problems with this movie right from the get-go, but this is based on an autobiographical novel in which Kim Basinger plays Cookie Gallman, a divorced Italian socialite who changes her life after surviving a car crash. She marries Paolo, played by Vincent Perez, a man she does not know well, and moves with him and her young son to Kenya, where they start a ranch. She faces many problems, both physically and emotional, that will test her, and yeah, I think you can pretty much see why this doesn't work right from the get-go. What a downward for Hugh Hudson. I mean, this is the guy that directed Chariots of Fire, the Best Picture winner of 1981. And almost 20 years later, this is one of his last films. And, yeah, this is, I mean, if there was a purpose for this, if there was an idea of why she wanted to do this, she basically just says, you know what, I'm going to marry this guy I don't know, and we're going to move out to him to Kenya. Why not? Let's move out to Africa. It's just like, it really does not make a whole lot of sense why she does this. I don't know if it's explained in the book all that well, but it was not a good movie. It's a really, really dim-witted movie. Like, Gladiator won the Best Picture that year, but if a movie like this was nominated, I would automatically say it's one of those Oscar bait type movies, and it feels like it's an Oscar bait type movie. You got a director that's directed a Best Picture winner, and a film that's just going off of this idea that Kim Basinger can win another Academy Award for this after what she did with LA Confidential, and not this time. I think people were smart enough to stay away from this one. Sony, I think, was smart enough to realize that this is not going to work. They probably had this set as their big prestige awards pick in '99, and then they finally saw it. It was just like, oh God, we got to dump this out. Let's dump this out on a weekend when nobody's going to go see it. And sure enough, first weekend of the summer, this film kind of came and went. And, yeah, it's a bad movie. It's a really, really bad movie. It's a waste of great talent. And Kim Basinger, this was kind of a downward year for her, because she would be in another bad movie that we'll get to later on in the year, Bless the Child, which is also pretty bad, too. So, but we'll eventually get to that one. But, I mean, you got Eva Ruiz Satan in here, and also a pre-James Bond Daniel Craig, so I guess that's something. Lance Reddick's in here, too. I mean, that's got to be something. Maybe? I don't know. But let's go ahead and end this off with... it's kind of like a sandwich this week. We've got two good movies and then a piece of shit in the middle there. But let's go to the other half of that other third of that sandwich. So let's go to the third part of that sandwich, I should say. And that is, of course, Michael Jordan to the max.
A story this big can only be told on the world's largest screens. An IMAX experience. Michael Jordan to the max. Up close, some heroes get even bigger.
Or some might like to call this The Last Dance before The Last Dance. I mean, The Last Dance, I think, did this much better, but, man, to see this on a big screen really would have been something special. Especially on an IMAX screen. This is basically a documentary chronicling the life of Michael Jordan, who I still consider to be the greatest basketball player of all time. Like, I'm sorry, LeBron James is a good basketball player, but nobody tops what Michael Jordan was able to do back then. And this is basically it's just focusing on the 1998 NBA playoffs, kind of like with The Last Dance, which did it better because it was more in-depth and lasted more than just one movie. And this thing only is about an hour long. And also follows other significant moments in his career. It's narrated by Lawrence Fishburne. You have a ton of different personalities in here. Phil Jackson, of course, Doug Collins, Bob Costas, Bill Murray, Ken Griffey Jr., Spike Lee, Willie Mays, Ahmad Rashad, Pat Riley. And yeah, to see this on a big screen probably would have been incredible, especially that opening, which I've seen this movie on video and then DVD, and it's great to watch, but man, if I could have seen this on the big screen, if we had an IMAX theater around here, I would have definitely gone out to see this on a big screen, because it would have been cool to really see this on that gigantic IMAX screen, especially that opening, which is really well done. It's a nice little documentary overall. It's nothing too spectacular. Like I said, it's only about an hour long, and I think The Last Dance did this so much better. But at the same time, though, it's still a really good movie, and it's great to see these moments is in a movie that was intended for a large screen experience, and it would have been cool to see it on a big screen. But as a movie on DVD and Blu-ray, it's fine for what it is. I think it definitely delivers what it promises. I wish there was a little bit more to it, but then again, that's why we have The Last Dance, which is again much better than this. But this is still good enough, even if you wish it was more. If you're a big Michael Jordan fan like I am, this is it for you. This is something that you should definitely check out. Michael Jordan to the max. Like they say, up close, some heroes get even bigger. And so on that note, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies, and boy, do we have a good one for you next week. And when I say a good one, I mean not a great one. But we have Battlefield Earth. Not much more to say about that one. We have Center Stage. We have Screwed with Norm Macdonald and Dave Chappelle, which is probably the best movie that comes out this week coming up. Held Up. We have Ethan Hawke in Hamlet, a different Hamlet compared to the one that Kenneth Branagh did a couple years ago, and also coming soon. So 6 movies to look at next time around, and we will delve into those on the next episode. But until then, thank you very much for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the playlist on the next page, check out the previous episode, and also don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this on this channel. Now, don't go too far away, because after I'm done uploading this, we have a new Time About the Movies flashback tonight, where we flash back to Labor Day weekend 1988 with 2 movies that I am very unfamiliar with, so we can get through that one pretty quickly. We have Rocket Gibraltar and The Deceivers. So, short video coming up after this one, but stay tuned for that. That's going to be coming up right after this.